Hey guys, this is Mr. Grice for Algebra 1, Chapter 10.1 through 10.3 review. Hopefully you got your reviews out in front of you, and let's go ahead and get started. So, it tells us to show our work. First part says, identify the solutions, the x-intercepts of the following quadratic function, if any. Remember that the solutions are the x-intercepts, and that's where the line, or the quadratic parabola, crosses the x-axis. So, we want to know where are those points at? Okay, so, well, where are they at? For the first one, it's where x equals -3 and 4, which means our solution is -3, 0, or the x-intercept is -3, 0, and 4, 0. Okay, number 2, it only crosses the graph that one spot. So our solution is x equals 0, and that intercept is 0, 0. And now for number 3, does it cross? Well, not in any place I can see. And when that happens, that's when it's the no real solution. And for all you lazy people out there, that's NRS. Okay? And does it have an x-intercept? No. So there's none. Okay? So number 4 is all you. Go ahead and pause the video and see how you do. Okay, so it crosses the graph at 3 and it's 7. So your intercepts are 3, 0 and 7, 0. Alright, next one says solve the following quadratic equations by using an appropriate method. Okay, and we can choose from factoring, inverses, which is SADMAP, or the quadratic formula. If necessary, it tells us that we need to round the final answer to the nearest hundredth. Alright, let's go ahead and get started. So, we draw the line down the middle, and now we have to do SADMAP, because anything with fractions we talked about is always SADMAP. -6 to both sides. -6 minus 6 is -12. Those do not cancel. Okay? And now to get rid of a fraction, we multiply both sides by the inverse. You're left with just the x squared. And now if you don't know how to do that in your heads, it's okay to use a calculator. Okay, that's -3 over 2 times -12. Remember, there are two negatives. So when you multiply two negatives, you get a positive. To get rid of a square, we take the square root. And now we do the square root of 18. And now we're going to have to round this. We look at the 2. The 2 tells us, remember, 5 or more raise the score, 2 or 4 or less, let it rest. So we rounded it. It's going to be plus or minus 4.24. There you go. All right, number 6. Pretty much the same thing. All right, fraction. So we have to do SADMAP. We're going to add the 8 to the other side, and we get 3/4 times x squared equals 18. We have to multiply by 4/3, and we get x squared equals 18 times 4 over 3 gives us 24. And now take the square root. The square root of 24 is 4.898. So the 8 tells us to round, and then the 9 actually turns into a 10. So we have to change a couple things. So this is plus or minus 4.90. All right. Number 7 is all you. Go ahead and pause the video and see how you do. Okay, so by following inverse operations, we subtracted the 24 to both sides. We got negative 19, and multiplied by the reciprocal, which was negative 2. And negative 19 times negative 2 is positive 38. Take the square root of 38, and that's where plus or minus 6.16 comes from. All right, let's move on to number 8. Now, I want one of those sides equal to 0. So, what I'm going to look at are my x squareds. If I subtract the 2x squared, it's going to be negative. And we don't want to have a negative x squared. So we're going to move that x squared, and we'll be okay. And then we're going to subtract the 5x as well. 5x cancels. We're left with x squared. Oh, well, what do you know? Those x's cancel too. And x squared minus 4 equals 0. Well, I can tell that it's a binomial with subtraction, and I can square root both of those. Okay? So, guys, go ahead and hold on real quick. Thanks. Okay, and now the square root of x squared is x and x. One's positive, one's negative, and the square root of 4 is 2. Anything with an x, we're going to set equal to 0. So x plus 2 equals 0, and x minus 2 equals 0. And when you solve those, you get plus or minus 2. Okay? All right. Number 9. I believe that's where our equal sign's supposed to be. Now, I want you guys to go ahead and try and do this one all by yourself. Okay? It's going to be just like 8. Go ahead and subtract this stuff to the other side. I'll give you a little hint. We're going to subtract the 3x squared and subtract the 10. Okay? The rest is all you. Pause the video, and good luck. Okay, there's a little help right there. Did you factor out the GCF first? Okay, if not, go ahead and get back to it. This is the difference of two squares. Okay, after you take the square root of everything, you get x plus 3 and x minus 3, and then that's what you end up getting. Woo, excuse me. All right, number 10. Go ahead and there's our equal sign right there. Draw the line down the middle. We're going to subtract the 3x squared to both sides and the 12. Those guys cancel out. And we're left with 3x squared minus 10 equals 0. Okay, now all we're going to do is just follow StatMap. So we're going to add 10 to both sides. We get 3x squared equals 10. Now, to get the x by itself, we're going to divide by 3. We're going to keep that as the fraction, 10 over 3. And now, to cancel out the square, we're going to do the square root. Now, watch how we type this into our calculator. So, I want the square root of 10 divided by 3. Okay? And then we get our answer, 1.825, and we round that So x is equivalent to plus or minus 1.83. Alright, let's go ahead and flip it over. Number 11. 11, why don't you guys go ahead and see if you can do it by your own. Go ahead and pause the video, and good luck. Okay, did you guys factor out a 7x from everything? Hopefully. Now remember, from here, you set everything equal to 0. So 7x equals to 0, and x minus 7 equals to 0. From there, you get the two answers of x equals 0 and positive 7. Okay? Now, in class, some people are like, well, how'd you get 0? Well, divide both sides by 7, you get x equals 0. Right? And you should know how we got the positive 7. All right, number 12. Let's get all the information to one side. We're going to subtract the 2x squared, subtract the 9x, and subtract the 2. So everything cancels on the right side, and we're left with 2x squared minus 12x, and negative 2 and positive 2 cancel. Now, this is just like number 11, so go ahead and finish the problem all on your own. And pause the video. Okay, and when you're all done, you get x equals 0 and 6. Alright, 13. Now, 13, we've already got one side equal to 0, so yay, we're happy about that. But now we have to factor. Is there GCF? Okay, there isn't. So, we need to know that A is 1, B is 13, and C is negative 30. Okay, now just before you go jump into quadratic formula or anything else, remember you always want to multiply and check your factors first. So you get 1 and 30, 2 and 15, 3 and 10, 5 and 6. So out of those numbers, which ones add up to 13 but multiply to get to negative 30? And remember, it's got to work for both cases. And when you do that, it's negative 2 and 15. So we split that up to x squared minus 2x plus 15x minus 30 equals 0. Factor out an x. Factor out a 5. Oh, not a 5. The greatest common factor, Mr. Grice. Sorry, I'm kind of sleepy over here. Please forgive me. So we get x minus 2, and then we pull out a 15, and we're left with x minus 2, which is good because that's what we should get. So we get x plus 15 and x minus 2 equal to 0. Everything that's got an x we set equal to 0, so x plus 15 equals 0, x minus 2 equals 0, and that's where we get the answer, x equals negative 5 and positive 2. Alright, number 14. 14, we're doing the same thing, except it's not equal to 0. So we have to move the smaller squared to the other side. Those guys cancel. We get 0, and then it's x squared minus 11x plus 18. Okay? Now, you guys are all on your own. You're going to factor this, Just like we did in 13, that's what's going to happen. Okay, go ahead and pause the video and see how you do. Okay, so you should have gotten the combination of -2 and -9. Split the middle term. Take out the GCF. You get x minus 2 for both of them, so it shows that I did it right. And then set everything with a variable equal to 0. Alright, number 15. Now, off to the side for this, you guys should always be going like, set equal to 0, so -6, which is 1 and 6, 2 and 3. To any of those numbers add up to get to 7 and multiply to get to -6. Well, 1 plus 6 work, but it doesn't work there, okay? So this can't be factored. So I would write down what is A, what is B, and what is C, okay? And now we get to do the quadratic formula. So x equals the opposite of B, there's B, plus or minus the square root of B squared minus 4AC all over 2A. So you guys need to know where all those numbers go, okay? So we're going to plug in a 7 over here, a 2, a -3, and a 2. So -7 plus or minus 2 times 2 is 4. And now we're just going to go in our calculator and we're going to type in everything under the square root. So 7 squared minus 4 times 2 times -3. And that tells us it's 73. And now we have to break it down into the two problems. So we've got the plus the square root of 73 over 4 and the minus 73 over 4. Alright, and when we do that, let's find out what we get. So we're just going to do the top plus the square root of 73. That gives us 1.54, and then we have to divide that by 4. Okay? And if you need to round it, because that turns into 0.39. Okay, so that's 1. And now our second one over here, it's not the same, okay? Because now we're doing subtraction. And then divide by 4. You get -3.89 because we have to round that too. Okay. Last one. Let's go ahead and add the x squared and subtract the 7x. Those cancel. 3x squared minus 9x minus 4 equals 0. So if we're doing this, we want numbers that multiply to get to -12. So which one of those add up to -9, but multiply to get to -12? And it can't be done. Okay? So we know that A is 3, B is -9, and C is -4. I'll set up the equation for you because x equals the opposite of b, plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Alright, and you can see the example number 15 to where all those numbers go. Hopefully yours looks a little bit nicer than mine because that was kind of sloppy. So, alright, you're all on your own. Good luck. Okay, and when you go through, that's all of your work. Now, if you have any questions about this, you need to come find us. Ms. Carranza and myself would love to help you out. Otherwise, that's going to be it for Algebra 1, Chapter 10.1 through 10.3 review. Thanks for watching.